Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So really quick, ugh, 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 ugh. No, I'm joking. There's nothing to ugh. I just needed to pop that open. Okay, so I asked what this conversation was going to be about, and what I heard is major challenges overcome by you. So you're being tasked to get past something. I'm assuming there was some type of, I don't know, maybe like some type of hardship, some type of, I don't know. Okay, so now that I saw the bottom and I didn't like it, I'm gonna have to make sure that I just like I can't cheat. I can't cheat. Okay, so we don't know which way cards are turning. Okay, there we go. So I'm live across quite a few different platforms. And I can see everyone's comments. Let me just get some cards for us. I better hurry because right after this, I have to go into our congregation space and share some really pertinent information. If you'd like to be part of the very exclusive conversation that we have in our sanctuary, please click on the QR code or the link in the comment. That will take you exactly where you need to go to initiate a recurring contribution. This recurring contribution goes straight to our church. Solarwork Synergistics. It doesn't go to me. It's a completely different processor. And with that, because we are in fact a recognized church, faith-based organization, if you are in the United States, you can keep your receipt for this recurring contribution and use it as a tax deduction. Okay. All right. So this is not a membership or anything like that. It is a donation to our church. And we use those funds for all sorts of different programs that we have running. All right. I'm about ready. So, guys, major challenges overcome by you. There's some stuff that I guess that you've been through, and these things have greatly affected your perception of yourself, your opinion about your journey, your opinion about your character. There's been a lot of things that have been tried. I want to say over the last year is the time frame that I'm feeling. Over the last year, you've gone through all these different challenges, some very obvious, some not so obvious, and these challenges were designed to show you the bigger picture of who you actually are. I think for many of us, we don't really know who we are. We go based off of other people's opinions of us. We go based off of, see, the card still came up the way, because girl, you can't cheat. We go based off of the opinions of people who have no idea who we really are, how we really are. And maybe these people are not even interested in finding out. So, with that, it greatly affects the way we move through our journey. If you allow this to continue, you're not going to be able to fulfill the things that need to be accomplished during this time period. We are well into a window of time where your opportunities are being exponentially expanded. Your opportunities can completely change your life. It has the potential to completely change your life for the better. Or on the flip side of that, it has the potential to lock you in the same space where you have been absolutely miserable for however long you've been there. It's time to clear away your doubts, your disbelief in yourself, your distrust in your process. If you do what needs to be done, amazing things, amazing, amazing, amazing things are bound to happen for you. But you have to commit to the tasks that need to be completed. The challenges that you need to overcome are things that are not new to you. It's just you've gotten so comfortable in a space of limited existence. It's become, unfortunately, so comfortable for you to be uncomfortable in your life, to prioritize other people's opinions, to prioritize other people's preferences. Let's really think about this. You look at the people whose opinions matter the most to you, and you do what it is that you think they want. Has that worked out for you in the past? Has it made it more possible for you to heal the parts of you that you keep pushing away? The parts of you that you keep being ashamed of? I mean, the people and the circumstance that you are prioritizing, these things that mean the most to you, do you mean as much to them as they do to you? And it's not that it has to be a tit for tat. It has to be a reciprocated type of love, or else you really need to love them silently from afar. I know it hurts to hear that. My job is to encourage you to begin the difficult process of loving yourself. If you can do this and clear away all of the old caca, all of the old way of being where you're completely ignoring your needs, martyring yourself just to prove your loyalty and your love. If you can clear that away, guess what? You go into a space of full manifestation. You then begin to create the different opportunities that are necessary to get to the next part and the next part and the next part. How many more parts are there left to go? However many it takes to get to the other side of your fear. Your fear is not an entire, how would I put this? Your fear is merely a filter. It's not an actual part of your character. It was a tool that you were given without any instructions. And you were supposed to have figured out by now. Supposed to. Doesn't mean you have figured it out. But you were supposed to have figured out by now that fear is merely a tool to bring your attention to the things you need to pay attention to. Is it because it's something that can harm you? Sometimes. Is it because it's something that needs your attention and needs you fully present so that you can reach the highest degree of elevated awareness of self? Most times, yes. Most times, yes. It gives you a very clear awareness of who you are, how you are, after you move through that fear. And when you get stuck in that fear, that is a challenge that begins to distort the way you see yourself. You begin to imagine the worst case scenario about who you are and how you are. Sometimes when we do that, that's the very thing that keeps us phase locked, that keeps us stuck in a specific space of existence. This space of existence where you're stuck in, it's one where you don't believe in yourself, you don't trust yourself, you don't allow yourself to receive guidance, abundance, love, support. You will usually end up choosing to believe you don't know what's happening. And yes, You do. Yes, you do. You just don't want to believe it. Let's look at relationships, right? Romantic relationships, platonic relationships, friendships, our connections with our family members. Um, this usually happens in friendships and romance more than family. There is a falling out that happens, and you're like, I have no idea why. It just came out of nowhere. Lies. Lies. You're lying to yourself. You need to overcome that challenge of taking accountability for the things that you've chosen that's caused you to circle back around and continue to choose the same toxic patterns. That now the person who maybe was your support, maybe was your rock, maybe was one of the very few people you could trust, they've backed away. Why did they back away? You don't know why? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But you don't want to address it. You don't want to look at it because guess what? You're phase locked into a space of thinking this is all life is. This is all I deserve. This is all I get. Everyone always walks away. Do they walk away or do you give them no choice but to leave behind the very cycle that you've married yourself to? It's not too late. You can overcome these challenges. In order to overcome something, you have to first acknowledge there's something that must be overcome. You have a choice, okay? In order to overcome this, because things will eventually be solidified and then you can't change it. Then it's stuck. Once it becomes solidified, you have to live with your choices. And you have until the start of spring. That's only a few months. Like I like to talk about all sorts of different things. I tend to try and avoid the topic of parasitic circumstance just because it's like a sore spot for me. It's led to a lot of really just ugly circumstance over the years. So I try and avoid it. But these are things you guys need to hear. You can only leave a parasitic circumstance in your field for so long before it becomes fully anchored permanently, irrevocably in this life. You can only leave it in there for so long. I've had clients over the years come back to me later on, and their life is now in shambles. I've identified years ago in a scan, like, hey, you have a parasitic circumstance. I will leave it up to you whether you want to book a session to remove it or not. I completely respect whatever you decide. Will not try and sell you on anything. And I just tell them, hey, this is where you go to purchase that not expedite, but extraction. And then I leave it at that. I don't follow up. I don't do anything because, again, I respect whatever you decide. And then I'll have some of these clients, they'd never get the extraction, which respect it. And then they'll come back later on and they'll be like, oh my God, you were right. Since then, my whole life fell apart. I mean, that don't make me feel good. I don't need that kind of validation. That doesn't make me feel validated. That then just puts me in a space of should I have like emphasized? I don't like feeling like I'm selling someone on a service. Like you either resonate or you don't. That's how sovereignty works. Like I just make you aware that, hey, this is an option that I feel you should explore. And then I leave it at that. So I've had clients come to me and let me know years later, hey, remember how you told me I had a parasite that was anchored in my mandible, my jawbone, and my skull? Well, you were right. I just got diagnosed with cancer in that area. And I'm like, I don't want to be right. I've had people come back to me years later and be like, and I have no remembrance, no recollection that I've scanned for them before, which I mean, I scan so many people and my memory sucks. I don't remember most of it, right? And they'll be like, they'll get a scan. I'll be like, wow, your field is really messed up. Like you have all these severe chakra issues that are leading to your physiological issues, symptoms that are presenting, and autoimmune conditions that are developing, and all these lesions that I'm picking up on, and your whole body is messed up. Oh my gosh, I'm now detecting there's a parasitic circumstance. And they're like, you told me that a couple of years ago. But I just didn't want to get an extraction. Okay. What would have just been a simple removal? And it's not cheap. I will agree with that. It's not cheap because of the risk that I have to take. It's not cheap. The risk for myself. But now instead of just a removal, I have to completely rebuild everything. Our fear cripples us to the degree sometimes that it further compounds, exaggerates, amplifies things that should have just been simple, things that should have just been very easily fixed. You have a small window. I don't know who this applies to. Okay, I'd be the first to say, I don't know who this applies to. You have a small window to choose the options that will lead to initiating your healing. Because if not, when does spring start? What, like March? April? I don't know. March? I don't know. Whenever it starts. Let's look it up because this is going to drive me crazy. I'm going to keep thinking about it. March 20th. Okay. In March. I'm good. So you have until March 20th to begin the changes. And what I mean by that, you can't wait until March 20th to choose. I've been doing this work for so many years. And for most of those years, when people don't choose what is necessary for their healing, and then it begins to worsen for them, it used to really break my heart. I would bleed for them. I would just be like, oh my God. And now you choose what you choose. I'm kind of just at a point where you choose what you choose. So choose whatever you're going to choose. If you wait too long and it gets solidified, for some people, it's going to solidify. Whatever this negative circumstance is, it's going to solidify before that March 20th date. So you guys choose whatever you choose because you're going to have to live with a consequence. The end result, you're the only one that's stuck with that, no one else. So if you choose not to heal, you will then no longer receive guidance from your soul about what to do when the time has passed for you to effect positive change in your life. You're no longer going to receive that guidance. What people are going to end up receiving, because we're going to enter into an even more elevated parasitic circumstance, the higher degree of anchoring the collective consciousness enters into, the more aware we become of parasitic attempts, parasitic thought inception, the more even random people who don't believe in any of this subject matter, and you don't need to believe it, they'll begin to have very intense paranormal experiences. Y'all in the spiritual community have been wanting that new earth, right? Oh, it is here. And everyone will begin to see and be aware of how much these things, these metaphysical things, how prominent it becomes. We're already seeing tons of videos of shadow people, tons of videos of anomalies. You have the orbs, you have the drones, you have the plasma balls and whatever else they're putting out there. Those are Project Bluebeam, those specific things. The Shadow beings are not Project Bluebeam. That's a byproduct of your consciousness anchoring into higher degree of dimensional level. And because of that, you have more awareness of the lower levels of existence. Shadow people come from fourth dimension. We're already a 6D consciousness of the collective. We're in the process of transferring over into the 7D. So, it is what it is. Y'all are going to pick whatever you pick. I honor whatever you choose, but just know after a certain point, not me or anyone that's honest. Okay. That's crucial. That's a crucial part. Not me or anyone else that is honest and has integrity. They won't be able to do anything to assist, because then that solidification of a densified state, you're going to be stuck in a lower dimensional frequency. Your avoidance of awareness is blocking you from rising in frequency. And after a while, you are going to be phase locked, and not just where you're at right now, but because of your awareness that you're being left behind. You're going to densify even more, and it's going to compact. You can expect to see accelerated aging, accelerated evidence of accelerated oxidative stress on your body, disease states, all kind of different things. It's a natural part of life. Right? Your body is a roadmap for your energetic, spiritual, emotional, and mental health. Did you know your face shows exactly what's wrong? It tells you which organs are struggling and suffering. It's very common, especially for women, primarily for women, to go ahead and try and brighten their under eye area. We'll put all sorts of chemicals, we'll put all sorts of beauty products, and then that doesn't really work. So then we'll go ahead and we'll paint over it, right? I don't wear foundation. You notice how sometimes I will have bags under my eyes and sometimes I will not, right? Today I did a pretty intense lymphatic flush on myself this morning. I believe I dropped like 4 pounds within an hour or so. That's all water, toxins. And now look how smooth my under eye area is. No darkness. I literally don't wear foundation. I'll break out in rashes. This is your kidneys. You've exposed yourself to something, your body, whether it's energetic body, physical body, it's reactive to it. Either you've eaten something or you've exposed yourself to something. It's entered your field. It's entered your body. Dark circles under the eyes are often indicative of your kidneys struggling. What emotion are your kidneys associated with? Fear, worry, anxiety. Your own face is telling you every time you look at yourself, your own face is telling you what's wrong and what needs to be worked on. You look at some of my older videos, you'll see I developed 11 lines. I was very angry during that period, internalized anger. I don't do really much of anything to my face outside of like heavily moisturize. That would not remove 11 lines. You notice how my eyebrows look slightly lifted? I release the tension. You just got to take care of yourself. You need to allow your face and the rest of your body to show you what challenges you've been facing and refusing to address. What are you afraid of? You got dark circles. What are you afraid of? And some people might say, oh, this girl is full of shit because dark circles are genetic. So is fear. Crippling fear. You learn that. You are genetically predisposed to experience life in that way. When your ancestors all had that, there's a high likelihood you'll develop that as well. And due to epigenetics, depending on what you are exposed to, that increases the likelihood of specific programs going fully active and running in your template. Mhm. Yes. These challenges that need to be overcome, they don't just affect abundance. They don't just affect all these woo woo topics that we talk about when we think of spirituality and evolving and consciousness. It affects every aspect of your life. Okay. Sorry. Generosity, receiving, withholding. Yep. You're blocking yourself. Divine guidance, higher knowing, confirmation, these blocks, right? Blocking yourself, not allowing yourself to receive the very things that will help to facilitate your journey, not allowing yourself to acknowledge the very things that you already know these things. You already know. You know. Whenever they say someone is predisposed to a condition, I think it's learned through multiple generations. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to communicate. Through many generations, eventually, what existed as fascia based memory then gets passed on, because what happens in the fascia will then eventually translate into your energetics, your chakras, and your auric field, and your morphogenetic template. And whatever goes into there, whatever distortions, then gets reverberated back into your physical genetics. And it might not be something that necessarily is passed on right then and there to children already existing, but that reverberation is held within your etheric DNA. So you have a double helix DNA, the two strands that science has seen. They haven't photographed it. The guy did a visual. He had a little spirit journey, and that's what he saw. Um, so there's that, the two physical portions, the double helix strands, and then you have quite a few primarily dormant etheric strands, energetic strands, fire codes, all of these different things, and they swirl together and they mix. And what's happening is every child you have after that gets altered by your own behaviors and perceptions that were distorted by the traumas, they will have that within their program. That will be within their program. That doesn't mean they'll be exactly like you, but it does mean there's a potentiality, a higher potential that they will react to the same type of trauma, the same type of trigger in the way that you did, because that's already existing, right? Like, one of the positives of this, my grandmother was able to bilocate, and in her highly developed bilocation skills, she then went ahead, because of her life experience and the need for it. She had many children. She went ahead and she cultivated that skill to be able to see into the human body. That gave me the ability to do bioscans at the level that I do. Now, everyone in my family that came from that line has that predisposition. Most are dormant because there's certain things that need to happen by way of epigenetics that will fire up that sequence, and it will then go full active. It will be placed within the portion of your template that is full active. So this is not an excuse for the way you exist, because just like your reaction to something can trigger the activation of that sequence, your choice can also cause it to go dormant. When I was a child, I was diagnosed with lupus. There's no evidence of lupus in my body. Why? Did you know lupus is a reaction to being immersed for prolonged periods in a highly abusive environment? Everyone in my family, all my siblings, both my parents, congestive heart failure. I'm the only one. No congestive heart failure, no heart condition, no cardiac anything. Why? I was diagnosed with diabetes. I take no insulin. I don't try and restrict how much food I eat. I listen to my body. My diabetes is completely controlled and has been controlled for quite a few years, to the point where it does not register on a lab test. Why? Diabetes is rampant in my family. My genetics predisposes me to stroke, heart attack, heart failure, diabetes. I have none of those things. I do, but I don't. Why? Because at some point I deactivated the response that activates that program. I still have an elevated potentiality to develop it if I allow my emotions, my mindset, and my lifestyle to come together and activate that program. These are some of the challenges that we don't realize are being presented to us, so that we can begin to seek the resolution that's necessary to slow down or even reverse the molecular compaction that causes aging and eventually disease. I take a shit ton of supplements on a daily basis. Is it because I am sick? No. It's spiritual, not because of what you eat and drink. It's spiritual, not food. Your body is human, it is a physical form, and it is fueled by food. It receives two types of fuel, which is necessary. Just like your vehicle cannot properly function without first an electric type of fuel. That's why you have a battery to run certain portions of your engine. And then gasoline, which is used for combustion. It's a combustion engine, but also an electric machine. Don't fool yourself into thinking that only one aspect of your health and your journey is what needs to be addressed. You will never heal when you think that way. You will never heal when you think that way. And I have thousands of clients who have provided me their medical documentation to serve as evidence of the efficacy of my applied biospiritual theories. You have no idea what you're talking about. You go ahead and you continue to live in the way you live. I'll see you in 5 years and see what your spiritual beliefs have done for you. If you cannot meld the spiritual with the human, they will never align. You will never exist in a totality. And that is what's needed to experience true whole being health. Whole being health. So, the map maker of destiny, authentic purpose, inspiration, and free will, but it's in reverse. For many of us, we think that we're stuck in this way of existing because someone who thinks they know better than you about you are trying to tell you things that really are nonsensical. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. You have to do everything that must be addressed in order to affect the type of change and overcome the types of challenges that you are seeking to overcome. You will come across so many people, especially on social media, who think they know so much because they've read this and they've read that. Tell me the history of the author you are quoting your beliefs from. You do not know the validity or the integrity of the information you are adopting and then regurgitating unless you know the history of the author who penned that work. Use your noggin. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. I don't want testimony. I want medical proof. I want medical proof. I don't want your words. I want medical proof of the validity of your words. You are claiming to do one thing and having me trust that. Why? I don't trust you. You're a stranger to me. And now what? Now what? I don't believe anything you say. Now what? You want to come onto my space and try and lecture me and preach to me. Baby, I'm a pastor. I'm the head of a church. In addition to that, I've received over 12 years of theological training and instruction. And I say this with my entire chest. I think you're full of shit. Anyone, and I'm about to be petty here, and I want you to be present to hear this. Anyone who puts their screen name as the truth in all caps and has is that a lion? A lion for your image. A lion, just like the truth, does not have to announce what it is. The reason you chose me to comment all of this stuff is because you yourself identify me as someone who is extremely well versed, extremely knowledgeable, and a benchmark that you are trying to use to appear more intelligent. Unfortunately, you're not. You called yourself out left and right, left and right. And I'm no longer going to waste any more time and energy on you. So you're blocked because I have zero tolerance for stupidity. People are free to believe whatever they want to believe, but you will not project your stupidity onto me. That is a challenge I have overcome. For many years, I allowed people to do that because I was afraid of hurting their feelings, making them feel small, making them feel less than. Let me tell you, when you identify yourself as less than me, someone who's not comparing or competing with you, and you begin to behave in a way that's passive aggressive and an attempt to dominate me in my space, well, I'm going to put you in your place. They wanted attention and they got it. I gave them the clarity of their own stupidity. That's the equivalent of telling someone to not address a tooth infection that needs to be removed because it's beyond being repaired because it's attached to a chakra. Keep that tooth in and you will develop a cardiac infection that will end your life. Stop the stupidity. It's time. It's time. It's time for us to begin to understand the things that we have to address. They are multifaceted. You have to address each component so that at the center, you can become whole and healthy and have that be what reflects out to every other part of you. How do I know this? Because the body of my work has medically documented evidence of how this works, how efficient and powerful it is. Again, not trying to sell any services. You need to think for yourself. When people tell you you can address challenges that are multi-components by doing one thing, they're fucking up your whole journey. They are fucking up your whole journey, and I'm gonna be blunt about it. They're using you as a way to test out their theory, and if you get fucked up by their advice, no worries, don't affect them. That's not how I function. That's not how I function at all. At all. Some people will tell you that you can do this type of energy and that type of energy and it will fix this and fix that. Did you know that if you run specific types, certain types of frequency, these are standing scalar wave patterns, if you run that through someone's field, their auric field, you can go ahead and induce apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. Cancer is malfunction of apoptosis. The cell doesn't die and it grows rampant, creates disease. Did you know that if you take just a slightly modified version of that same standing scalar wave pattern, you are not going to trigger apoptosis? You are going to instruct the cells that are surrounding that cancerous growth, that tumor, that malignancy. You're going to instruct the cells surrounding that to begin reverberating at that frequency. You've just spread that cancer. I speak Tagalog. It's a very well-known dialect in the Philippines. There's this one word that comes to mind. I'm going to use this as an analogy. Bukas and bukas. The emphasis is what determines the definition of the word. Bukas and bukas. Bukas means tomorrow. Bukas means open. People who don't know, they think it's the same word. It's not. For people who don't know, they think it's the same frequency. It's not. And because they know these terms, molecular compaction, morphogenetic template, accelerated frequency accretion, these are all part of my natural normal vernacular. People will use these words. They hear me using it, they'll use it too. Now they think they're smart. And because you don't know those words, you think they're smart too. And now they're giving you two different words, saying it's the same thing, creating completely different effect in your body. You are densified sound. Your physicality is sound slowed down to the point it gives you the perception of densified physical existence. It's up to you. What are you going to do with the power you have to speak things into being? What are you going to do? Are you going to say you don't have the power? Then that's what will happen. Are you going to say you have the power, but you don't know how to use it? Well, that's a powerful spot. It's putting you in a space of vulnerability and awareness of vulnerability. But in your awareness, you're now empowered to change that so that you're not susceptible to other people's bullshit. There are challenges that need to be overcome. You need to allow yourself to synchronize with what your soul is showing you. Excuse me, you need to break through the illusions. There's a lot of people who just talk far too much mess on social media, and really, I'm too old to play games with them. You want to come on my live stream trying to act like you know so much and trying to say that my personal stance from many years and over 12,000 clients documented, that doesn't include undocumented sessions of experience, is invalid because you believe different. I will put you in your fucking place. I won't feel bad either. I won't feel bad either. All right? Because I'm no longer going to be playing these games with people's egos. That is a major challenge for me that I am now choosing to overcome. When you play games with people's egos and allow them to think they have more authority over you than they actually have, which their authority over you is none, they then become emboldened. They then become of this mindset that you have to listen to them. You have to this, you have to that. You don't have to do shit, babe. You don't have to do shit. You don't. What you have to do is see where inside you their attempt to dominate you is reverberating, because that's where the wound is. That's why that person was allowed to cross your path, to bring your attention to where that wound lives inside you. That's what you really need to focus on. I don't feel any reverberation in me in that interaction. I felt no reverberation. They had been commenting for some time, right? And oh, I missed that comment. I love that. Soul, well, I don't love the comment, but I love that Soul pointed it out. The person says, you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside full of greed and hypocrisy. I've been accused of that so many times. Why? Because it's evidence that I'm successful. What do I do with my success? Nothing but help more people. I used to be afraid people would see me as greedy. The reality is this, I'm not. And anyone who's observed me from a space of neutrality for any length of time, you will see this. I am such a giver. I give freely to the point where it's normalized and people don't realize how much I'm freely giving. And it's okay. That's not really something I give because I feel like it, because it resonates with my heart, not to show to you that I'm a giver. And it's actually a compliment to me that people are so comfortable and my giving and generosity is so normalized that even the people who struggle to receive feel comfortable receiving from me. That's an honor. That's no longer a trauma that I'm working on overcoming. It's been overcome. I'm successful, very successful, but I'm still ever going to just be me. And at my core, I'm a lover, I'm a giver, I'm an empowerer, I'm a protector, I'm a nurturer. And that's just that. People will only see you in the way they need to see you in order to justify what they're attempting. If you can see this, you can overcome that challenge. Because for many of us, we just want people to like us. That used to be a struggle too. And now I've come to the point of realization. People don't like me because I stand for something. And it should never be my goal to be liked. It should always be my goal to be known for being the person that I am. And I'm proud to be me at this point. Yeah. Proud to be me. Very, very proud to be the person that I am. I'm not perfect, but I'm perfect in my imperfection. You don't have to be perfect in the way the world says and defines perfection. You just have to be yourself. That's all you were ever asked to do and be, right? Inner conflict, morality, conscious choice. The inner conflict is about trying to live up to other people's unrealistic, unfair, unsustainable expectations of you, things they can't even sustain for themselves, right? You're that person. I'm going to keep using that person as an example. That person had this expectation, probably because I'm Asian, that I would be forced to listen to them because people are watching. I'm going to look like an absolute fucking bitch if I don't listen to them and accept what they say. Well, yeah, no, I can absolutely be a bitch. Yeah. What now? You're not going to force me to listen to you. You can't even listen to me. Why the fuck do I have to listen to you? I don't. Now what? Not a damn thing, Smokey, because guess what? I won't allow it to go any further than that. Sometimes that's the mindset you need to have to overcome the very challenges that you've been struggling to overcome. Was it, I'm right, you're wrong? It was, no, I don't agree with you. My body of work has shown me something else, and I will not agree with you. And then, of course, they got very upset about that. I don't give a fuck. I'm not your mom. Take that shit to your mom or your therapist. You know, And then some people trying to be smart will be like, oh, my mom's dead. Okay, mine is too. Go to her grave and cry on it. Release your tears, and maybe, hopefully, she can transmute that for you from the other side. You're still not my problem. When you own your space, when you own your journey, you have no apologies for that. That's why I'm giving you guys this example. It's not to show you I'm badass. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say whatever. No, I own myself and my journey. Did I harm your mother? No. Did I celebrate when your mother went through whatever she went through and it resulted in her demise? No. That is emotional manipulation. You need to be able to recognize when people use their life circumstance to manipulate you. That's another very common challenge for a lot of empaths, right? Hi, Annie. So, a win-win outcome is forecast. If you can hold your space without entering into a mental space of just pure rage, I'd say it's a win-win forecast. I would say that you have just won a round with your fear. There was some type of challenge that your fear presented, and you won that round. Remember, other people are not your competition. There is no need to compare. And it's a win-win circumstance because I promise you, that person is going to remain bothered by me and my existence and their inability to dominate me for at least a few days. And you know what's going to happen? They're probably going to make another account. If they don't already have another account, they're going to wait for me to go live. And until that point, they're going to do a whole bunch of reading, which will hopefully open their eyes to how flawed their logic currently is. So in that sense, they've also won. They don't need to agree with me. I don't need to teach them shit. They just need to go through the process to expand their awareness even further. Win-win. I enforced the boundary. They got an opportunity to be triggered to the degree that now they're in the process of expanding their awareness. That is a win-win. I don't need to be right. They don't need to be right. Some of the challenges that we face, it's not just black and white. It's not just right or wrong. It's something where, why are we learning this? What is this about? Right? Luck is on your side, but it's in reverse. You're not going to do this through luck. You're going to do this because you chose to. You are needing to choose your healing. Remember, for those who are just tuning in, you have until the start of spring. That is March 20th. Things are getting phase locked. This new earth that everyone's been waiting for, it's here. And now they're separating the wheat from the chaff. And it's not a thing of, I'm evolved and you're not, and you're going to be. No, it's this thing of, okay, what are you choosing? Your soul is asking you, what are you choosing? Do you want to revert back to a more densified human experience, which that's a valid choice? Or do you want to continue with your current human experience and elevate your understanding of what you're learning with each experience? Those are both valid choices. One will increase your awareness, the other will densify you and phase lock you. Both valid, but it's just a matter of what do you want? What do you want to accomplish? I'm running out of time. Balance spirituality and practicality. Too many people don't do this. You need to start. It's not all intuition and it's not all logic. You have to find the middle point between the two so that you can efficiently and effectively navigate through your journey. Communication is key. It's in reverse. This is telling me in reverse that this is an internal process and you don't necessarily have to speak to everyone about this. You don't need to necessarily bounce your ideas off someone else. Some things you need to. This in particular, it's very introspective. I'm going to need to start my exclusive conversation with my congregation. Like I said, I'm a pastor of a church that was formed by me. I go ahead and I teach the true teachings of Yeshua Emmanuel, Jesus the Christ. He was a Nazarene Essene, and he was raised in the beliefs and lifestyle of the Essenes. where your body is a temple and you must address the physicality along with the spirituality, with the energy. So I go there. It's an exclusive area, and all the congregation members, to be a congregation member, you have to initiate a recurring contribution, just like any church. The recurring contribution is not a membership. This is not some cool social media thing. It's actually a contribution to the church that is done every month. And you can cancel it at any time. But when you do that, you then get access to our exclusive church space that's just for the church congregation members. And that's where we talk in depth about all kind of crazy things that affect our day-to-day, our spiritual journey, our personal journey, the journey of the collective. I have a lot to share with our congregation today. A lot of information has come through, and this is information that's important for you to be aware of so that you can begin making choices in your day-to-day life. This is very in real life type information. You need to start making choices in your day-to-day life so that you can reduce the likelihood of the physiological as well as morphogenetic impact of some of the cascade events that have been happening. I spoke about a cascade event quite a few live streams back. I think it was like a month or two back, more like 2 months back. It's about the cascade events. And these cascade events have a very real physiological, emotional, ascension mechanic disruption type effect on all of our journeys. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. Last two cards, bring love into the situation. Don't bring love into any situation if you have no idea of what healthy love is. For most people, we don't know what healthy love is. I know I didn't know healthy love until my husband chose to love me in the most healthiest way for at least 20 years straight. Most of us, our perception of love is nothing but ownership, domination, and obligatory existence, unfortunately. Yeah. Until you have a very clear understanding of what healthy love actually is, don't bring love into the situation. Okay? For most of us, part of our current definition and understanding of love is enablement. You can't allow the people you love to be enabled in their toxic behaviors, toxic cycles. You can't join them there. That's not loving them, that's enabling them. What do you need to release? But it's in reverse. You know what you need to release. But I don't think you know what you need to hold on to. If you can figure out who and what you should hold on to, you can be stabilized in your process of what needs to be released. And I think this is a good space to stop this conversation and continue the conversation over in the sanctuary. Oh, let me put it back on the screen. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, click on the QR code or the link in the comment. For those of you who are on TikTok, there is no QR code or comment to click on. You have to go to the link in my bio and scroll all the way down and look for the sanctuary. I believe it's the same image as you see on screen. I'm going to be there in about 3 minutes. With a sanctuary, you can either be on screen as video chat, you could have your camera off and just be verbal chat, or you can be in the text chat, whatever your level of comfort for interaction. You don't even have to comment if you don't want. Whatever your level of comfort for the interaction, it's completely up to you. And I'm going to be there in a few minutes. We're going to talk about some very serious stuff regarding cascade events, regarding our health, ways to prepare. And I'm going to be sharing some of, oh my God, I didn't realize this. I was just told right now. I'm going to be sharing some of the different prophetic dreams that I've had through my entire life that's beginning to play out right now. It's going to be an intense convo, guys. It's going to be a very intense convo, and I hope no one gets freaked out. We'll have an opportunity to chat about it in depth. I love you guys. Please make sure you like, follow, share, and all that other social media jazz. If you allow yourself to find the courage to move and navigate through the fear, I promise at the end of it, you'll look back and you will say, it was so fucking worth it. You are worth it. You're worth it. Medhole, you have to go to my bio, the link in my bio, click on that, scroll all the way down and look for the soul sanctuary image. And that will take you where you need to go. All right, guys, I gotta go. Love you.